Welcome in to Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. Outkick the Show is presented by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all of your gambling and informational related needs. As well, go to thehomeloanexpert.com. Right now, if you need a new mortgage, if you're looking to pre-qualify, if you got a rate that is anywhere outside of the twos, you need to go to The Home Loan Expert right now, and you will be glad that you did. You'll get hooked up automatically and spectacularly well with a spectacular mortgage. And also, if you sign up and you tell them that Outkick sent you, you will get a free year's VIP membership. They will let me know. So I appreciate all of you coming to hang out with the show. A little bit of information off the top. I'm traveling a lot. Thursday night, I will be at Zanies. We don't have very many tickets left. I'm tired of mentioning it. Go buy them. They are $20. Go to zanies.com or just go to the anonymous mailbag today. Up at the top of the anonymous mailbag, you will see a link to allow you to get a ticket to come to Zanies. We're almost sold out. I think they fit 300 people in there. There's like 30 of those tickets left, I think, right now. 15, 20, whatever it is. There's not very many. They should be all sold out today. If you don't get them today, you're not going to be able to get in. I don't think you'll be able to show up on the day of and just buy tickets. So go ahead and get those done. And I'm going to be in St. Louis on Friday. If you are an Outkick VIP member, we are going to have a St. Louis event. You can follow me there. You can go hang out with us. Again, go on the message board if you are a VIP. If you're not a VIP, $99, sign up. Last chance, by the way, if you want to go to the Zanies event for free, you can sign up as an Outkick VIP member. We have a limited number of availability there. You have to immediately go into the message board, but you can get a free shirt and $20 off your tickets. VIP members are getting to go for free to Zanies. Going to be in St. Louis on Friday, and then on Monday, I'm speaking to the Birmingham Quarterbacks Club, several hundred people there. I'm told it's a big group. So I will be in Birmingham, Alabama on Monday. A lot of decent amount of travel, at least in the next several days. Other news, it's pretty cool. I'm going out to LA in a couple of weeks to go on Adam Carolla's podcast. He has invited me on that podcast, and I'll also be doing the Weeden report at the same time, which is going to be pretty cool. So I want to thank you guys. I'm going to put these numbers up shortly, but September was the most dominant month in the history of Outkick. All right, the most dominant month in the history of Outkick. I want to share these numbers with you. We did over 1.5 million podcast downloads. We had well over 1 million people listening on the radio. We had millions of people watching me on television. We did millions of unique readers on Outkick, and we did millions of monthly viewers on Facebook and Periscope. I'm not sure that anybody in sports media has ever produced that kind of audience ever before. I think we might have set a sports media all-time record across a variety of different platforms, from Facebook Live to Periscope to the podcast to the daily radio show to television on Fox News and CNN to Outkick's website to all of those different things. I don't think we've ever seen it before. So that was a dominant month. I appreciate all of you because you guys are the voice behind this. Outkick is its own media company. So we don't have this huge PR arm constantly out there circulating, arguing in favor of what we are accomplishing. Okay, I want to talk to you about this. I'm going to start off. I've got a bunch of things to hit today. We have got SEC hot seats. We're going to talk about the coaches at the different SEC schools. Are they on a hot seat? How likely do I think that they are going to be able to finish the year? We're going to talk about Michael Bennett. The media silence continues. Somebody just said, where's the article about Michael Bennett? Hey, dipshit, go on Outkick. Scroll down until you see a picture of Michael Bennett. There's the article about Michael Bennett. I got to tell you, some of you are becoming so stupid. You know, I mean, we're about to hit 500,000 Twitter followers, all right? And I'm going to have to start blocking more people because I try to read my mentions, but I'm getting thousands of mentions a day now, and I can't even keep up. I mean, it's almost impossible for me to keep up. So I am going to have to start blocking people more aggressively in order to be able to read my mentions. And that's just probably something you have to do when you approach, hate to brag, 500,000 Twitter followers and then move on towards 1 million. At the rate we're growing, we'll probably hit 1 million around this time next year, which is pretty crazy. But I want to read the mentions, but I can't keep up with the mentions if there's so many fucking stupid people out there. And so I'm going to start blocking people. Like if I read a mention and I'm like, my God, you're fucking stupid, I'm going to start applying the are you fucking stupid standard. And if you send me an argument and it's so fucking stupid, I'm just going to be like, dude, go follow ESPN. I don't need your stupidity in my mentions. All right, so that is what we're going to have to do. But the media silence on Michael Bennett, I want to give props to Ryan Russillo and to Will Kane at ESPN for becoming the first people at ESPN to actually mention the fact that Michael Bennett is a lying, race-baiting fraud. Alex Morgan got kicked out of Epcot for being drunk and disorderly. I think, honestly, if you're single and you're there without kids, instead of getting kicked out of Epcot for being drunk and disorderly, you should have to sober up and then keep up all day with a 7, a 5, and a 3-year-old inside of Disney World, and the parents of that 7, 5, and 3-year-old get to go drink instead. That would be more fair, because I'd like to see hungover single people have to keep up with kids at Disney World. That seems a lot more fair. Also, by the way, Alex Morgan really hot. I've got an Alex Morgan story for you. The worst NFL beat ever. We'll talk about Monday Night Football. Hopefully you did not have the Redskins in the under, because if you did, you got slammed. And we'll talk about the Titans signing Brandon Weeden. All of that and more. But we begin with SEC hot seats. And as we come up on the 6th week of the college football season, to me, I think Butch Jones is on a different caliber of hot seat. Butch Jones is fired. You want to know what should have happened? Butch Jones should have been fired after this game. I don't think he's going to be fired after this game, obviously, even during the bye week. So he gets to coach against South Carolina. Last year, he had 2 weeks to get ready for South Carolina and lost on the road as a 2-touchdown favorite. This time, I would think that Tennessee will be around the 6-point favorite, probably over South Carolina. And who knows whether they'll be able to win that game or not. But even if they win it, right now, Alabama is forecast as a 35-point favorite over Tennessee. So I think you let Butch Jones, if you don't fire him between now and then, you let Butch Jones go down to Tuscaloosa, you let him get his teeth kicked in, let Tennessee get destroyed, and then you go ahead and fire him. Then you go ahead and fire him on October 22nd, the day after that beating that Alabama is going to deliver. That way you don't give Butch Jones a chance to coach in the final 5 games of the year. Because in the final 5 games of the year, you get to play Missouri, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and somebody else not good, LSU, okay? Missouri, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and LSU, plus Southern Miss. Arguably, Tennessee could be favored in all 5 of those games. I mean, it would not shock me if Tennessee ends up being favored in all 5 of those games, including on the road against Kentucky, because Kentucky's beaten Tennessee once in the last 30 years. If you allow him to play, to coach those 5 games, best case scenario, he ends up 9-3. He's got an argument it's his best regular season record ever. Sadly, that would be true, and it's hard to fire him after that. So, to me, what you have to do is you have to come back and you have to make the argument, you know what, we're going to fire him right after he loses to Alabama, because then Tennessee will have lost to Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. In his 5th year, they will not be able to actually make an argument otherwise, all right? If it freezes for you, then fucking restart it, all right? I don't need your comments on there of it froze, right? It's not my fault if it froze. It's froze for you. And if I can see your comments, guess what? It ain't frozen, because your comments are still coming through. So leave, and you can come back in and restart, because I'm not coming back in and restarting, because the numbers are still going up. So I would suggest leave. Instead of telling me that it's frozen, don't be a pussy. Leave, and then come back in. That's an issue for you, not for me, because I can see all the comments still coming in perfectly well, and it's not frozen for me. So I'm going to start blocking people who say that it's frozen for them, because that means it's frozen for you. It's not frozen for anybody else, all right? Then leave, and then coming back in will probably work, because the numbers are continuing to go up on the stream, all right? So that sounds like a you commenter problem, not a me commenter problem, all right? So I don't need to see those comments. Facebook, don't be pussies. So Tennessee, Butch Jones is done. Tennessee, Butch Jones is done. There's no doubt at all that Butch Jones is done. Who's the next on the chopping block? I honestly mean this, guys. I think that every LSU administrator who was involved in signing Ed Orgeron to a long-term contract should be fired themselves, because they gave him a $12 million buyout, when in reality, he would have been happy to sign on as LSU's coach for a lifetime supply of Red Bulls and a weekly free gumbo. All right? The fact that they gave him $12 million guaranteed is one of the dumbest contractual arguments I have seen ever. This is like Napoleon selling Louisiana Purchase to Jefferson for $15 million. This is like the Native Americans selling Manhattan for $24 in trinkets to Peter Minuet, all right? That is a shitty-ass decision. And everybody who's an LSU fan should be furious beyond belief that your brain trust made this stupid of a decision, because Ed Orgeron is a disaster of a coach. He has lost by 30 points to Mississippi State, who just got their teeth kicked in by Auburn and Georgia. Mississippi State's not that good, and he just lost at home but to Troy. Ed Orgeron is going to lead Mississippi State's team into a career of obsolescence and dominance. I mean, and being dominated, okay? So I don't know if LSU can afford to fire him. I don't think they can, because they have to pay off Les Miles, because Ed Orgeron is costing him too much money. I don't think they can fire him. I think it's going to be a slow slip towards obsolescence for LSU fans, and I think your administration is going to be to blame, because they made the ham-handed decision to give him a $12 million buyout. Look, when you are going to get married and you have no other options at the altar, okay, you could have married Ed Orgeron, given him $3 million to coach you for 1 year, and then if it doesn't work out, you fire him, right? You have to have a head coach. Everybody knows that. What you don't have to do is commit your program's finances to Ed Orgeron forever. The guy has a 35% winning percentage. This is one of the worst mismanagements I have ever seen by any athletic department of all time, and I'm a University of Tennessee fan. Trust me, I have seen a lot of mismanagement. By the way, back on Butch Jones, the Haslams need to make a move here. They're billionaires. They just sold 38% of their business to Warren Buffett. They just got a big infusion of cash. Do you want to sit around on the sidelines and watch your team suck for the next 20 years of your life before you die? Or do you want to actually make a decision? All right? On this buyout front, there are a lot of college administrators, believe it or not, that watch and listen to this. You guys are being idiots here. There's no way on earth that Ed Orgeron should have a $12 million buyout, that Butch Jones should have a $9 million buyout, or that Brett Bielema should have a $15 million buyout. What you have basically done is handcuffed yourself to a 5. If you were out at the bar and there was a girl who was a 5 on this traditional scale of 1 to 10, all right? If a traditional scale of 1 to 10, if you knew that 5 was going to sleep with you, that's fine. You go home, you have sex with her. But if you find out there's a 10 that wants to go home with you and actually marry you, why do you care whether the 5 leaves? All right? This is a perfect way to think about it. You locked in a 5 and committed for the rest of your life to that 5 when you had a 10 out there who could have been interested in you. Think about how stupid that would be just from a pure game theory perspective at the bar. All right? You are afraid of your 5 leaving. If you've got a shitty coach, why are you afraid of him leaving? Like, I don't get that. If Butch Jones suddenly decides, you know what, I'm going to go to Purdue, I'd be like, fuck yes. If you've got a shitty girlfriend, you don't get engaged to her, and you certainly don't propose to her, and you certainly don't marry her. If anything, you hope that she's just going to leave, and you don't even have to go through the trouble of breaking up with her. If she finds somebody else, you're like, thank you, Jesus, right? Why do you care? Same thing should be applying here. Coach O, where's he going to go? He has literally no other options. Why do you need a $12 million buyout? Let him leave if somebody else, some other crappy program wants to hire him. Brett Bielema, $15 million? Are you kidding me? Let Brett Bielema go. He's 10-24 in the SEC. What are you afraid of? That is absolutely nobody that actually has any threat there. Butch Jones, let him go. The only people who should have big buyouts are coaches that have big helicopter dicks and win 75% of their games or more. Okay, Jimbo Fisher, I want you to have a big buyout. Dabo Sweeney, I want you to have a big buyout. Bobby Petrino, you've proven untrustworthy. I want you to have a big buyout. James Franklin, Jim Harbaugh, Urban Meyer. All of those guys, okay. Like, they deserve $15 or $20 million buyouts. Saban has a 0 buyout because he's got the ultimate helicopter dick of all. Saban, I'm surprised he can walk around. His dick and his balls are so big. But he doesn't want to buy out at all. He wants to be able to leave at any moment. I'm not opposed to that. If the radio company came to me and they said, hey, we'll pay you X, but you can leave at any point in time, I'd be like, okay, I'm making a lot of money, but I'm fine. If I decide that I want to do something else, I'll just walk away. I'd be fine with not having any ability to be held to my contract. I'm good at what I do. If you're great at what you do, you shouldn't really want to buy out. You should want to be able to leave when you get a better option. But I understand the schools wanting to lock them in. I understand why Fox Sports Radio wants to sign me to a 3 or 4 year contract extension, because I'm going to make them a lot of money. And in 3 or 4 years, I'm going to be worth a lot more money than I am now. I understand their business imperative there. But from my perspective, I'd rather have a month-to-month deal. And if I decide I don't want to do it anymore, I can just walk away, right? That's what Nick Saban has. If he decides he has a better option, he can walk away. So, number 1 on the hot seat list, Butch Jones. Number 2, Ed Ogeron. I don't think they're going to do anything to him. Number 1 should be Brett Bielema, but because of this $15 million deal, they can't do anything. And I actually feel sorry for Arkansas fans, because effectively what Arkansas is saying is, we don't care about winning football games. We don't care about winning football games. We are just so desperate to be able to attract ourselves to a 5, like a 5 on the scale of 1 to 10, that we're willing to do whatever it takes for Brett Bielema to stay here. So I would say he should be number 1, but he's actually number 3. Barry Odom is still so young. Barry Odom has only coached, whatever the math is there, like 15 games at Missouri. I think it's too early to judge Barry Odom at Missouri. Missouri was a dumpster fire when he took over. There was a mess there. The population of the student body has dove like 35%. Like, that is not necessarily a situation where I think you can judge Barry Odom at all. So I put him further down the list. Thank you. I know my wife is hot. Why do you think I married her? And why do you think she got a big buyout? She got a big buyout. She gets half of everything I own. She's got a big buyout. She's well earned it. All right. So in that scheme of things, then I think that A&M fans are being absurd with Kevin Sumlin. I think A&M fans are being absurd with their frustration with Kevin Sumlin. And by the way, I'm taking Gus Malzahn completely off the hot seat right now. Auburn looks really good. When you've got a top 10 team and your only loss is by 8 on the road at Clemson, there's nobody with a functional brain right now at Auburn that should put Gus Malzahn on the hot seat. He's officially off the hot seat. Gus Malzahn is not on the hot seat. If you look at what Gus Malzahn's best teams have been like, okay, when they won the SEC in the national championship in 2011, I know he was just the offensive coordinator, or 2010, whatever year it was. When you look at that, 2010, I guess, that team offensively got better week by week. Cam Newton in September was not Cam Newton in late November, right? The guy that performed like he did in the Iron Bowl, I was there for the comeback. That guy was not the same as played in September, right? They slowly got the offense better around him. Same thing happened on was it 2014 when Auburn went out to the Rose Bowl and played against Florida State. That team started off really, really slow, 2013. That team started off incredibly slow, okay? That team started off incredibly slow, and so as a result, they ended up being in a ridiculous situation, right? They got consistently better. They lost on the road, got their asses kicked by LSU, and then they got consistently better as it moved along, right? And so as a result, it is a totally laughable and absurd proposition that Gus Malzahn should be on the hot seat. But I'm also close to taking Kevin Sumlin off the hot seat. Alabama is going to whip Texas A&M this weekend. All right, I think everybody would probably agree with that. And then we have to see what happens, because then Texas A&M has several games left. They have at Florida, they have to play Ole Miss, they have to play Mississippi State, they have to play LSU. I think am I correct that that's their final 4 SEC games? And they would theoretically have a winnable proposition in a lot of those games, right? They still have to play Auburn too, all right? They still have to play Auburn. So if they could go 9-3, if they could go 5-1 down the stretch, they're going to start 4-2, and then they're going to lose to Alabama to be 4-2. If they could go 5-1 or 4-2, that would be the best SEC West record that Kevin Sumlin has posted since year 1, and he would have done it with a young team. And he would have lost, yes, the UCLA game, but UCLA is pretty good, all right? So he would go 8-4, 5-3 in the SEC, or he would go 9-3, 6-2 in the SEC. I really don't see how you fire him in either of those situations, right? So I think Kevin Sumlin is actually not that low on the list because he's recruited incredibly well. And I think it makes total sense. They lost to Memphis. Look, I don't think that UCLA is good defensively, but Josh Rosen is a first-round quarterback. If a first-round quarterback happens to get hot against you, sometime it happens, okay? So Matt Luke is not going to get the Ole Miss job. That's a laughable proposition. He's not even on the hot seat because he's not even on the seat. So all of that is true. Any other questions about the SEC hot seat list that I just ran through? I don't think anybody else is on the hot seat in the SEC. I think Jim McElwain is not good. I think that Mark Stoops is overrated. I'm starting to question whether I apologize to Derek Mason too early. We'll see what happens against Georgia this weekend, but that is the truth. This is an awesome cup. I think we're going to start selling these. This thing is amazing. You know, it's like the cup, you know, that's designed so that there's no coldness or hot heat that gets in. So you put ice in here and it stays ice all day. I think we're going to have these for Christmas this year as part of Outkick VIP memberships. You're going to be able to sign up for an Outkick membership and get one of these as well. With the Outkick logo, we're also going to try to get DBAP put on them so that you can get a DBAP, maybe one side DBAP, the other side Outkick, so you can have your own Outkick logoed cup. VIP membership is $99, and you get a free shirt, so it's like $70 for the year. It's pretty cheap. Go to Outkick.com, click become a VIP. All right. No, you cannot have this one. And again, I'm going to be at Zany's on Thursday night. We got like 300 people coming to Zany's. They filled it up, and we have just a few tickets left. So if you wanted me to come, if you want to see me at Zany's, we're going to have T-shirts, we're going to have gear and everything else there, and I'll be doing a live Outkick show, and we're going to do it at Zany's on Thursday night, this Thursday in downtown Nashville at Zany's at 7:30. So come hang out. All right, Michael Bennett. I want to give props to Ryan Russillo and to Will Kane, who actually agreed and managed to talk about the Michael Bennett story. This is still one of the most unbelievable stories that I've ever seen in the sports media. Everybody covered Michael Bennett saying that the Las Vegas police were racist. I'm going to go over this. I'm going to keep hitting this because I think if you question whether there is bias in the sports media, this is maybe the most biased coverage of a story I have ever seen. Everybody covered Michael Bennett saying the Las Vegas police were racist, that they profiled him, that everything was wrong with the way he was treated outside of a casino. This becomes, by the way, even more of an absurd allegation in the wake of the shooting that we just saw at the casino. Because on that night after the Mayweather-McGregor case, everybody was showing up, all the police officers were showing up at that casino with the report that there was an active shooter there. So if you watch the videos, and the videos are up on Outkick, scroll down until you see Michael Bennett's picture, click on it, read it, share it. If you watch the videos there, you see some remarkable things. First of all, they had over 190 versions of videos in Las Vegas, none of which supported Michael Bennett's claims. Over 190 of them. And by the way, if you think the cops are selectively editing things, they offered Michael Bennett's attorneys all 190 videos for them to review themselves. Do you know what Michael Bennett's attorneys said? Nothing. They didn't even respond, okay? So they offered him over 190 video versions of that night. The police shared a video of Michael Bennett running in and appearing to crouch and hide from police officers and then getting behind a slot machine. When police officers approached him, and by the way, the entire casino is full of black people, right? The entire casino that night full of black people who are trying to leave the casino. The police officers do nothing to them. They see Michael Bennett behaving in a weird fashion. They run over to him. They try to ask him a question. And instead of responding to police, he takes off at a full sprint and runs outside. They then think, the police officers do, 2 Hispanic guys and 1 black guy, 3 minority police officers believe maybe Michael Bennett is the shooter based on how he's responding. They chase him down. They get him on the ground, they handcuff him, and they take him to the back of a police cruiser. When they are there, they find out that there is not actually a shooter. And they ask Michael Bennett, they explain to him exactly why they detained him. They said, do you understand? We stopped you because you were running from police. We stopped you because you did not listen to us. We stopped you because you were hiding from us. Do you understand all those things? Michael Bennett said yes. They unhandcuffed him. They stood there. They shook his hands. They asked him if he had ID. He said he did not. He told them that he was a Seattle Seahawk and they should look him up. They looked him up on their phones, and then they released him based on the Google image search, I'm assuming, that Michael Bennett looked the same. This is unbelievable NFL privilege. There is no racism. There is no inappropriate police conduct. If you watch these videos, you can see in real time, long before they ever knew it was going to be an issue, they treated Michael Bennett with the utmost respect. These 2 Hispanic and 1 black police officer, they did nothing wrong. Nothing at all wrong. Go watch these videos at Outkick. Share them. It's an unbelievable story. The sports media and the national media covered Michael Bennett's allegations like he was speaking the gospel truth. When the Las Vegas police came out on Friday afternoon and said, we've conducted our investigation, there's nothing to it, these videos that they released prove that Michael Bennett was 100% a stone-cold, race-baiting, fraudulent liar, no media covered it. Sunday, NBC actually put him on for an interview. They had him sit down for an interview, a puff piece interview with Michelle Tafoya, and they didn't even mention this. Nobody mentioned it at CBS. Nobody mentioned it at ESPN. Nobody mentioned it at Fox. I'm the only person until today, when Ryan Russillo and Will Cain talked about it on ESPN, who has mentioned the fact that he is a total liar. How did nobody else cover this? How is Outkick the only source of legitimate news in the sports media? How is it with all this that the Las Vegas police is providing, with, by the way, on Sunday night, ample evidence of what it's like to actually respond to a police shooting, to a shooting inside of a casino, the idea that these minority police officers decided to grab Michael Bennett because he was a black guy is on its face one of the biggest lies that's ever been told and covered in the history of sports media. And yet I am one of the only people that is actually covering this. How is that possible? I'll tell you. Because most sports media has an established agenda. They want the stories to fit their worldview. And if they don't, they won't cover it. It's scary. The facts don't matter in individual cases. It only matters if it fulfills the expectations of an existing left-wing worldview in the sports media. Michael Bennett is a discriminated against black man because the sports media wants black men to be unfairly treated by police. When all the evidence and videos comes out and it proves that 2 minority police officers who are Hispanic and 1 minority police officer who is black treated Michael Bennett with great respect and did nothing wrong to him at all, the media, despite covering his fake allegations, doesn't say a damn thing about the fact that his lies have been now proven to be lies. It's an upside-down world, guys and girls who are watching and listening to this. How can you remotely justify it? NBC did a puff piece interview for him on Sunday Night Football. How did they not even discuss the fact that he was just proven to be a race-baiting, fraudulent liar? How did they not mention that when he refuses to stand for the national anthem? How much of a sociopathic liar does this guy have to be to have been proven a liar on Friday via video and still not stand for the national anthem on Sunday? It's unbelievable to me that I'm the only person in the sports media who is actually looking at the facts and reporting the truth about the Las Vegas Police Department. By the way, a bunch of guys who just got totally shot up trying to save everybody's life in Las Vegas. This is one of the most depressing and sad and lying events I have ever seen in the history of the sports media. And the fact that it's not a story and that people won't cover it is as clear of evidence of bias as I have ever seen in any media anywhere. My mind is blown by it, frankly. My mind is truly blown. All of the media that covered his fake race allegations, fake racism allegations, covered it. And there's no apology from the NFL. There's no apology from the Seahawks for saying the Las Vegas Police Department were racist in profiling black guys. How do you make it huge, somebody's saying? Share the Outkick article with everybody that you know. Share the Outkick article with everybody that you know. The videos are embedded there. People can watch it. They can read it. I think that's all we can do. It is huge because of Outkick. There's a big audience of people out there that listen to what we do, millions every week now. So we are punching back. We have become mainstream in many respects. But the fact that I'm the only person talking about this is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable situation. I got to finish up here. Got to go pick up my kids at school. Worst NFL beat ever. If you were watching Monday Night Football last night, tie game, Washington Redskins drop a touchdown pass. Once they drop the touchdown pass, they come back, kick a field goal. with 4 seconds left. With 4 seconds left, the Chiefs come down, kick a field goal to go up 23-20. The under is still comfortably hit, as is the Washington +7 line. And then on the final play of the game, they try to run like a Stanford play, and the ball gets picked up, score a touchdown at the end. And so if you had the under and the Washington Redskins, which was the right side, you ended up losing on the over and scored on the final play with 4 seconds left. The Titans have signed Brandon Weeden. Everybody's up in arms. Oh my God, how did they not sign Colin Kaepernick? Well, because they didn't want a fucking distraction in the city of Nashville, and also because Marcus Mariota shouldn't miss very many games at all. In the meantime, we're going to trot out the tried and true, and I have no idea how he's going to do, but the tried and true, he's like 100 years old. They're going to trot out, what's his name? Matt Castle. Matt Castle is going to come out, and he'll be able to play, and so hopefully the Titans can play well against the Dolphins. If you want to take a prop bet, Jay Cutler is going to throw for over 300 yards against the Titans secondary. I have zero doubt about that. And it's going to be an ugly game for the Titans secondary, because I think the Titans are going to go down to Miami and lose, especially if Marcus Mariota can't play. Funny line, Larry David just found out that he has Alabama relatives who fought for the South and owned slaves, which sounds like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I mentioned it because I love Curb, and it just started on Sunday. And finally, Alex Morgan kicked out of Epcot for being too drunk and disorderly. She was involved in an altercation involving multiple people. That is a unbelievable story. And I want to tell you my own Alex Morgan story. When the U.S. women's team won the Women's World Cup in Canada, I went out for their party and their celebration with my buddy Scott Riddell from Fox Sports. While we were there, Jenny Taft, who is awesome, covers the sidelines for Fox Sports a lot. She was engaged. Alex Morgan came up to Jenny Taft and thought that I was Jenny Taft's fiance. And so that, my friends, is the highlight of my Alex Morgan interaction. I have met her, and she thought that I was engaged to Jenny Taft, who is beautiful and smart and outstanding. But that was not, in fact, the case. She married somebody much better looking, much better athlete than me. All right. I love all of you. Don't get kicked out of Disney World. DBAP will be live tomorrow, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. If you have not heard, we had a spectacular interview with good old JR. If you are a WWE fan or you just like interesting interviews, he's a big Oklahoma fan. I would encourage you guys to go download the Outkick podcast, as millions of you did last month. Let's keep the momentum rolling now into October. I would encourage all of you to go check that out. Thursday night at Zany's. Come hang out with me. Go to OddsShark for all your gambling and informational-related needs. And if you need a mortgage, go to thehomeloanexpert.com. Hopeful Monday on satellite radio. Everybody's always asking. Hopefully Monday on satellite radio, we'll have a new channel for you, and we'll be back live all 3 hours at JR's Barbecue. Yes, indeed. He was awesome. He's on the podcast, as well as my guy Petros Papadakis. We'll have a great show for you tomorrow. I'll see you then, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports Radio, 250 a.m. FM stations. First half hour is on Sirius, and soon all 3 hours will be on, and you can always download the podcast. Love all of you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show.